If someone joins your lobby and is like, heck yeah, brother, I'm ready to farm some Ruthless, and then you queue up Reliquary, all of a sudden your brother will drop the, oh man, I forgot I had something going on, I got a jet, and then they dip. Why is that? Well, the simple answer is that Chaos enemies are hard as heck compared to Tyranids. Even if you don't struggle against Chaos enemies, you have to at least acknowledge that they are not the same as Tyranids. That's why people who want to farm high difficulty operations, they tend to avoid operations 3, 4, and 5. So Reliquary and Vox are notably challenging endeavors on the Ruthless tier. And on that note, all the gameplay today is on Substantial and Ruthless. And I'm not going to lie to you today and say that, hey, my tips are going to make Chaos enemies a cakewalk for you. But these tips will definitely give you a better chance of coming out on top when the chips are down. So let's talk about Chaos. So first tip on the list today, never put your back to a wall. Now some of you probably already know where I'm going with this, but Chaos Majors have a tendency to teleport up in your grill, and then they do their flamethrower area of effect around their feet in a radius, and getting caught in that attack is absolutely brutal on Ruthless. So if you put your back to a wall, what will happen is they'll teleport up to you, and they'll start their AoE charge up. And it can't be parried, you have to get out of the way of it. But now they're body blocking you from your way out. They are in between you and safety, and you got to get out of that AoE. So if you stay away from the walls, you can just dodge backwards one time and you're all set. But if they are in front of you and you've got a back to your wall, chances are you're probably not going to get around them and out of the way of that area of effect in time. You're going to take a bunch of damage, so don't do it. Don't put your back to a wall. And then beyond just the majors, the Hellbrute will spawn often in these operations, and the Hellbrute will absolutely destroy you in a corner. I don't care how good you are at dodges. His attacks are wide sweeping. Many are non-parryable area of effect attacks with lasting effects too. And his body is so stupid huge that if you have to go around him to get out of the attack, chances are pretty good you're not making it out of there without taking a big hit. So always leave yourself an exit. Ideally, you want to be able to kite enemies in a direction away from them where no enemies already exist. So always keep in mind where you can run to if things get overwhelming. Moving on to the next tip. Get used to doing heavy melee attacks followed by gun strikes. See, the Thousand Sons have these little goat men with swords and shields. You know the ones I'm talking about. And they have a tendency to block incoming damage while chipping away at your health. Perhaps the easiest and best way of dealing with them is to just smack them with a solid heavy attack and then follow it up with a quick gun strike just to get a quick chunk of armor refunded to you. This will help you stay in the fight and not let the little dudes overrun you. So make sure that you know your melee combos depending on the melee weapon of choice that you're using so that you can knock them back and take care of business when needed. Next tip. Always have snipers on your mind. So the Chaos enemies often have multiple snipers far out on the wings of the arena drawing a bead on you. You need to get into the habit of stopping literally anything you're doing that isn't an execution. And dodge those sniper shots when you see that blue line coming across your screen. If there are snipers up, hey, don't interact with consoles, don't search bodies, nothing like that. Always pop the snipers first before interacting with devices and things of the sort. These guys do drop in one hit from anything from any range, so I recommend for these missions that you run an accuracy variant on your sidearm so that you can pick them off easily with just one shot from downtown and cross them off the list of potential threats early and quickly. Next tip, be mindful of chaos spawns, so you'll hear the spawning sound before you see it. And then the bluish-gray cloud will appear. There's two things you need to be mindful of here. First, you need to get clear of the area, okay? Because their spawning animation does big AoE damage, like a big AoE wave that will take out a couple of your armor bars immediately. So stand back and don't stand inside the spawn cloud like charging a heavy attack or something like that. Second thing, this is a great chance to do big damage to the wave before they spread out, right? So use grenades, meltas, Auspex scan, or even go airborne on your assault class and start charging your ground pound attack and then dive into the horde the second they materialize. Letting them split up after spawning is a missed opportunity, so try to take advantage of it when you can. And next we need to talk about positioning and team play, because this is a team game. All the classes can do things for one another to help keep them alive and help each other capitalize on your own unique strengths. So if there's a heavy on your team, for example, try to keep the mobs off of them, and certainly focus down the majors so that your heavy can deal with the waves of adds. If you're a sniper, start priming majors and making them finishable for your teammates, like your vanguards and your bulwarks who may be up in the front lines. If you're a vanguard, use your grapnel launcher to target the majors and fly in to stun lock them before they can escape and teleport away. If you've got a full team with buds, consider your team composition. You want to cover all of your bases. A great choice would be 1 tactical, 1 sniper, and 1 heavy, because then you've got a tip of the spear, a support, and an ad clearing. And lastly, I do recommend that before you start running Chaos Ops, that you take a few seconds just to respec your weapons. It's totally free to do. You can refund all of your mastery points and then spend them again in a different way so that you get that extra damage to Chaos enemies selected on your gun instead of the Tyrannid one. You'll be glad that you did it. Trust me, that extra 10% may look like a small bit on paper, but it certainly adds up over the course of the half hour to 40 minutes that you're going to be in these ops, pounding away at these Chaos enemies. All in all, Chaos enemies do present a unique challenge for players, and I do think that many players intentionally avoid them because of it. But I'd highly recommend that you start practicing running Ops 3, 4, and 5 so that you get really acclimated to dueling these enemies. Start working up the muscle memory and learning the timing and the tells of their physical attacks while constantly juggling the incoming sniper fire and rolling around majors to avoid their flamethrowers, right? Chaos enemies will never be easier than Tyranids, but you can at least make them considerably more manageable with a little intentionality and effort. So thanks so much for tuning in to the video today. And a massive shout out to our brand new Discord community through Patreon. We've already got like 40 new members in a couple of days, and I've had a blast playing with many of you and farming ops together. It's also really cool when I'm not gaming to just check in on the Discord and see folks in there grinding and leveling together. If you want to get involved in that, we have a solid group of folks to farm with, so feel free to check the link in the description and the pinned comment. That will take you to my Patreon page for my other channel, but they only let you have 1 Patreon page at a time, so don't get confused when you see a whiskey page. I have a whiskey review channel. But just select the $3 tier, then that will automatically give you access to the True Vanguard Discord, and you'll be able to see all the Space Marine rooms, including our 2 chat rooms and the voice chat for squads. Thank you so much for your support and your viewership. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot to me. Be warm and well-fed, my brothers. Courage and honor.
The Emperor's will is done. All space ready to scan.